Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, December 10th. I'm Alyssa Corum here with Ed Carson, and we have your market update reporting to you live from our newsroom in Los Angeles. And on today's show, we're taking a look at Apple. We're also taking a look at ServiceNow and Atlassian. So let's pivot our attention to the major indexes. Right now, we are down across the board. The NASDAQ only down slightly, though. The Dow leading the losses down about 0.8%, and we have the S&P 500 down 0.7%. So the S&P 500 and the Dow are dangerously close to those October lows.
Yeah, at one point this morning, they got down to about 1/10 or 0.2% from hitting those lows. Look, this market rally really hasn't been acting well this whole time. Pretty much the moment we got the follow-through day, things started turning around. That's basically the second time that's happened in the last couple of months. Really not good action. Investors, it's not a good time to be buying stocks. They should probably be thinking about moving to cash. Be very quick to cut losses. This is the S&P 500. You can see how low we've gone. All the major averages fell 4.5% or more last week. Really, really heavy selling. Not a lot of good action. Yeah, we could rebound. I mean, there's been some volatile action today, so we've obviously seen a lot of big intraday and big daily, big weekly swings. So, it'd be great to see that turn around. But right now, be really cautious.
That's right. It's why it's always very important to keep an eye on what's happening, not only at the beginning of the day when you're checking things, but throughout the day if you can, and especially at the end of the day, seeing where the session closes. That's very important.
Yep.
All right, so let's take a look at Apple in the headlines, so to speak, today. Down about 2% in heavy volume. That chart not looking too good. We have Qualcomm winning a court case in China banning the sale of older models of iPhones, and this is part of this ongoing legal battle between Qualcomm and Apple. So this is just the latest in the ongoing saga.
Yeah, I mean, it's not clear how much of an impact that'll be, because Apple says, oh, we're still selling them and we can do a little change and it'll be sort of irrelevant. But it's ongoing. It's just another bad news for Apple. Citigroup also downgraded, or at least cut their price target to 200. One of the many analysts to do so. The stock is really sharply lower. It's made a little attempts along the way, sort of like the market, little attempts to find a bottom, but really, you don't want to be trying to guess that bottom. I mean, maybe this is the day. Who knows? Maybe this is the day. But it's also, it's at 7-month lows. That relative strength line is also at a 7th-month low. Just at the beginning of November, this basically stock was looking very strong. The RS line was, which is that blue line there, it was showing that it was outperforming the S&P 500, leading the market, hitting new highs. But that's not a buy signal. Right. It's a signal if it's a leader or a laggard, but it is not by itself a buy signal. And that's something I think some people can be confused about. Oh, look, this is a stealth breakout. It's really doing it. Look at this bad market. The moment this market turns, not so much.
It's a confirming indicator.
It's a confirming indicator. It's a filtering tool sometimes.
Right.
Okay, should I even bother looking at this stock? But it's not a trigger.
That's right. And you mentioned, oh, maybe today is the bottom, but that's the thing. It's so hard to try to guess the bottom.
Yes.
So, some people who like the long-term story for Apple, however bumpy or murky its future may be at times, you don't want to be trying to guess the bottom here.
Yeah.
All right, and let's pivot our attention now to ServiceNow in the software space, building a base here. It is a double bottom pattern with a 194.14 buy point. And after a bit of a rocky few months, software stocks are now trying to regain their composure a bit.
Yeah, there's been a lot of strong earnings reports. I mean, sometimes the stocks still were whipsawed because of the market.
Right.
But there have been some strong action, so the software stocks have come back. Look at that RS line. Again, not a buy signal, but that RS line is coming up on, new highs. So it's acting well. It's found support at the 50-day line, the 200-day line. This is just one on the ever-evolving, watch list, you probably want to be keeping an eye on this stock and a lot of other stocks in the software field.
That's right. So we have the middle peak of that W there. That's the potential buy point, and then maybe we're seeing a handle start to form.
Yeah, you need a couple more days for that, and that would lower it a little bit. Not a whole lot, but probably about a little over 192. But again, the market's not in great shape. You'd want to see the market do a lot better, probably, before really taking a big step into it.
All right, and we also want to take a look at Atlassian, also in the enterprise software space, forming a base as well here. And Atlassian has a stake in Slack, and Slack is said to be working on an IPO.
Yeah, and so that would be obviously a positive. But Atlassian has had pretty good growth along the way. The stock, back, some of it's worth during the market rally in the summer and fall. I kept on having these little weird, little tiny consolidations, a little frustrating. But right now it's at a big consolidation. It could be forming a handle as well that would substantially lower that buy point. It's not there. The RS line is, it's getting closer to those highs. That's a positive signal. Found support at the 50-day. This is just, again, a number one to watch. It's nice to see that sector improving.
That's right. So even though market conditions aren't what you want them to be when you're buying, it's key to be building your watch list full of stocks that are building those bases.
And keep changing it, because these were not on watch list a few weeks ago. A few weeks ago, there was probably a lot of discount retailers who say, hey, these are looking really strong. Not so much.
That's right. It's important to be nimble. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. And make sure you are subscribed to our notifications across social media. We are on YouTube, so make sure you are subscribing for those live notifications and all of our latest content across social media. And make sure to check out investors.com throughout the trading session and after the close for the latest market news and analysis. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.